That's what you think, and talk about me.
Alright, so if you've never seen one of my build videos before, you're not going to be able to see the entire build anywhere throughout the video. You're going to see one piece at a time, and I explain why I use those pieces. And I think that's important because when you just copy a build, you don't really understand how to use it, and that's why I like to break down how to exactly to use my builds and why they work for me. So yeah, getting right into it, man. We're going to be doing a Karina Unstoppable build today, and because the new skin came out, I decided, yeah, this is something that I definitely wanted to do. It was very difficult to get this gameplay because I was running into a lot of the common problems that I see when I play solo. It's just people who really don't understand what they're doing, like bad team comps and stuff like that. Some games are over before they start. Like one of these games, when I was trying to get this gameplay, like it was literally a team full of mages and then just me, an assassin. All mages and an assassin. It's like we stood no chance, basically. We definitely stood no chance. Not even an ADC was got. So yeah, anyway, getting into the video, getting into the build, what we're going to be using first on this hero is magic shoes. Now, but first, before we even get into that, before we get into the build and the breakdown of the build, I first want to explain that when you're using assassin, when you're using Karina, she's valuable at level 4. By the time she hits level 4 and gets her ultimate, she can kill. She can absolutely destroy someone. So starting off, you're supposed to be a roaming type of hero. You're not supposed to stay in one lane. Actually, no person is supposed to stay in one lane. No hero, period, is supposed to stay in one lane. I'm not going to break that down in this video, but yeah, you're definitely supposed to roam around, help your team, and try to gank people. So basically, what you're going to do, you're going to farm as quickly as possible, try to get your level 4 very quickly, help with the top lane, because more than likely you're going to be going to the top lane to start off with because you want the purple buff. Purple buff makes Karina stronger because all of her abilities, the deal magic damage, purple buff is just good for her. So you want to get the purple buff first, then you want to make sure your lane is good, make sure the person in that lane is good, then you go and gank middle immediately because more than likely the ADC or somebody important is going to be in the middle, so you want to gank them as quickly as possible and try to kill them very quickly so your ADC can get more fed than theirs. And that's when you all have the proper roles and stuff, you all have strategies and stuff. Like that's what you want to go for when you're using Karina. So after you do that, then if you're top lane, if you look at the top lane using your mini map, if you look at the top lane, your top lane still looks good, your teammate doesn't look like he's having any problems, you want to go down and help out the bottom lane, see if you can get some kills down there. You want to just go around, roam around, and kill as much as possible, but always remember that you started off at that top lane helping that person, so if there's 2 people on that top lane, he's probably going to need some help at some point. So you want to always make sure your top lane is okay, because at the end of the day, that top lane is going to be your lane. The top lane is supposed to have 2 people. It is more than likely going to have 2 people. So yeah, you always want to make sure you're watching that top lane, because more than likely the other team won't have an assassin, or they won't have an assassin that's actually playing the role properly. Since most people in Mobile Legends stay in the same lane, they don't roam around at all. They don't help their teammates. They don't support at all. I've literally, like one of these gameplays, I was standing right next to 2 people. I was fighting 3 people on the other team. My team was literally right next to me hiding in a bush, and they did nothing. They stood there. They waited for me to die. They waited for me to get everybody in that group low. Waited for me to die, then they went out and killed them. That might have actually been this gameplay. I don't know. No, that wasn't this gameplay. But yeah, it was crazy. I've been running into some crazy things, and definitely that's why I'm going to be starting a new series very soon too. But now let's actually get into the build and what I use. So we're going to be going with magic shoes first. That gives us 10% cooldown reduction and 40 movement speed. Now this is big because the 10% cooldown reduction, it's only a 40% max. If you didn't know that, your cooldown reduction just basically makes you get your abilities back faster. So when if it takes you 20 seconds to get your ultimate back, it's going to take you like 15 seconds if you max out your cooldown reduction. So that's what's important about cooldown reduction. So you want to get that as high as possible. So I'll get that to 40%. Like so this is the 10. This is the first 10% that I use toward that. And then the movement speed. Like I said, you're going to be roaming around. You're supposed to be helping your teammates in every single lane. Your first ability and your this movement speed is going to help you maneuver around the map very, very quickly and get to everywhere you need to be and help everyone you need to help while still defending your top lane when your top lane needs you. So yeah, top lane takes priority, but you definitely want to be roaming around helping everyone else, and this speed allows you to do that. So moving on to the next item we have here, we have Enchanted Talisman. Enchanted Talisman gives us 50 magic power, 250 health, and 20% cooldown reduction, and also about every 10 seconds you get 20% of your total total max mana. So that's going to be big. That's going to be big. It allows you to recover that mana a lot quicker once you have this 4 item on. So yeah, that's going to be big for this person. Now, when you're using the magic power that comes in handy because obviously you want to deal as much damage as possible. I told you all of her abilities deal magic damage, so you should of course have some magic power. Magic power makes your damage a lot stronger. So yeah, you want to go for that because she deals a lot of magic damage. Then the health, obviously the health, it doesn't hurt anybody. The health, you don't really depend on the health as much as you would depend on some of the other things with this item. But yeah, it's basically good on everybody. So everybody can use some health. Moving on to the 20% cooldown reduction. Of course, I already told you that it's going to take 40% to max it out. So with this in the first item, that's already at 30%. So we almost at maxed out cooldown reduction. So this 20% cooldown reduction is going to be big because you're going to start getting those attacks back very, very quickly. Once you use one of your abilities, your A, B, or C ability, you're going to get those back very, very quickly now. So yeah, that's why this is big. Moving on to the next item we have here, we have Calamity Reaper. Calamity Reaper gives us 70 magic power, 400 mana, 10% cooldown reduction, and then the unique passive is that after using an ability, the next basic attack will cause extra true damage equal to 120% of magic attack. So that item's big because it's going to be allowing you to do even more damage. Like anything that allows you to do more damage is big, and that's also leading into the 70 magic power. The 70 magic power, of course, it gives us even more damage. So that's basically all that's about. It gives us a bunch of damage, and that's why that's a huge item. And then we have 400 mana. The 400 mana allows us to use those abilities a lot more because at the beginning of the game, you have to go back to the base and you have to recover your mana and stuff very, very frequently. But as you get once you get this item, you have to do that a lot less, and then you get the 10% cooldown reduction, and that maxes out our 40%. It takes 40% cooldown reduction to max it out completely. So once we get that and we combine all this stuff together, you're going to be able to do a lot more attacks a lot quicker. So that's going to get your mana down a lot more too. So yeah, you're still going to have to go back, and like nothing on this build just gives you a bunch of crazy amount of mana or something. So you're going to have to go back every now and again, but this does allow you to attack people quickly. It allows you to deal a bunch of damage. And yeah, so actually what's interesting about this build is that's our last unique item. And moving on to the next item, we have Blood Wings. Blood Wings gives us 150 magic power and 150 health. And Blood Wings is actually our last 3 items. That's what's interesting about this build. Blood Wings is our last 3 items because it deals a bunch of magic damage. So I told you the importance of being able to deal magic damage because all of her abilities deal magic damage. So with all this magic damage that you're stacking on top of each other, that's 150 plus 150 plus 150. That's a lot of magic damage. So it allows you to basically just burst people down. You burst people down very, very quickly. With the first 3 items, you get your cooldown reduction and you get a little bit of movement speed. You get a little bit of things that help here and there. Mana, basically the primary thing I was going for is cooldown reduction because that's going to be big. I want to be able to use my abilities as much as possible, and then I want to deal as much damage as possible. And that's what you go for with this build. You want to, that's basically the strength in this build. So you have to play it like that. When you're roaming around, you definitely have an advantage over people because you're going to get your ultimate and stuff back way before the other people. And you'll actually see in this gameplay at one point, I went one-on-one with another team's Karina, and they got destroyed. They got absolutely destroyed, and I had a little piece of health. First off, the Karina used her ultimate before she should have. Like, she initiated the fight with me, the one-on-one fight with me with her ultimate, and that's what put her at the disadvantage. She got my health super low and thought she was going to win that while I was using my basic attack, my regular, my A and B ability. Then I hit my ultimate and she just got completely destroyed very quickly because I can burst her down a lot more and I can get my abilities back a lot quicker. So I used like a few of my abilities by the time it took her to use 1 or 2 or something like that. So yeah, I just had the advantage in every situation because I had this build. So yeah, it's all about knowing how to use your build, knowing how to play your character, and how to roam properly. That's really what it comes down to, and this build gives you an easy way to do that. Basically with Karina, all you have to do is burst people down anyway, and one tip that you need to know if you don't know this already is if you kill somebody with your ultimate, you get it back. You can just keep using your ultimate as much as you want to. If you get an assist, you only get like a 5-second wait. So yeah, you want to kill people when you use your ultimate. You want to save your ultimate until you can basically get somebody low enough where they're going to be killed from it. So yeah, that's going to give you the most value from using this hero. I hope this build was helpful. I hope you find these tips and this advice helpful. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and also share with me some of your builds. What builds do you like to use? What have you found that works for you, and why does it work? I'd love to hear about that in the comment section down below. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're new. and I'm going to catch you all on the next one, man. Peace out.
If that's what you think, then talk about it.